Earl Matthews had spent most of his 84 years on horseback. Long before highways cut through the land, before his hands grew stiff and his back curved with age, Earl was a cowboy, quiet, steady, and faithful to the rhythms of the earth. His ranch in Montana was smaller now, quieter too. The barns stood like old friends, weathered but loyal. Every morning, Earl walked slowly to the far paddock where his old horse, Rusty, waited. Rusty no longer ran. He didn't need to. He stood still, head low, eyes wise, as if he understood that time had softened them both. Rusty had been with Earl for over 20 years. They'd chased cattle together, crossed frozen streams, and slept under stars that felt endless back then. Now Earl brushed Rusty's coat gently, each stroke unhurried, almost ceremonial. "Easy, boy," he'd whisper, the same words he'd spoken thousands of times before. Rusty leaned into the touch, breathing slow and deep. Neither rushed the moment. They had learned something younger men hadn't yet, that presence mattered more than speed. In that quiet paddock, surrounded by open sky, Earl felt understood without having to explain himself. After Earl's wife passed, Rusty became his routine. When grief made mornings heavy, Rusty still waited. When loneliness crept in at dusk, Rusty's soft nicker filled the silence. Earl talked to him more than he talked to people now. He told Rusty about aching joints, about missing Clara's laugh, about the fear of becoming forgotten. Rusty listened the way old souls do, without judgment, without impatience. He simply stood there, solid and warm, reminding Earl that some bonds don't fade just because the world keeps moving forward. One autumn afternoon, Earl tried to saddle Rusty, not to ride far, just to sit. Rusty shifted uncomfortably, and Earl stopped immediately. He rested his forehead against the horse's neck. "We don't have to," he said softly. It was the first time Earl admitted aloud that some chapters were finished. He led Rusty back to the fence and sat beside him on a low stump. Together, they watched the wind roll across the grass. There was no regret, only gratitude. They had given each other a lifetime. As winter approached, Rusty slowed even more. Earl brought him extra blankets, checked on him through cold nights, and slept lighter than he used to. One morning, Rusty didn't come to the fence. Earl found him lying peacefully beneath the cottonwood tree. He knelt there a long time, hand resting on Rusty's neck, tears freezing on his cheeks. "Thank you," he whispered. "Not goodbye. Thank you. For the miles, the silence, the loyalty, the years." Earl buried Rusty where the sun hit first every morning. He still walked to the paddock, still stood by the fence. Sometimes he imagined hearing hooves. Other times he simply breathed. He understood now that growing old wasn't about losing everything. It was about carrying love forward in quieter ways. Earl might no longer ride, but the cowboy never left him. And neither did Rusty, because some companions don't disappear when they're gone. They stay, etched into the land, the heart, and every step taken slowly but with purpose.